What's going on, people? Thanks for watching. If you are watching right now, make sure you like the live, share it live, and leave some comments. I apologize right now. In my particular setup, I'm not able to um, see any comments. I'm not able to see the comments, but make sure that you do leave a comment. This is the OC Street Files Live. If you haven't checked out the OC Street Files, I pretty much cover gang history, gang leaders, founders, infamous gangsters, um, federal indictments, local gangs, local crews. Um, I cover all of that and a lot more. I'm a true crime fanatic, so uh, I also do like infamous couples, toxic couples, uh, you know, major crimes, all of that good stuff. I'm doing it. I'm talking about it right here on the OC Street Files Live. Thank you for joining me. Make sure to hit that like button and share it. Share it. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Anyway, tonight I'm going to be talking about the Mexican Mafia leader, Michael Pomona Mike Lerma, of the Lerma cell of the Mexican Mafia, who was just sentenced to life for running things from the feds. He was running things. Pomona, I don't know where else, but he was definitely ish, running ish. We talk about the Aaron Spencer case. If you're not familiar with this one, this is a crazy case. It's a crazy case. A lot of questions that I have about it that I'm going to be bringing up tonight, and possibly even more in the future as I follow the case, follow him specifically because he was just won the nomination to be the sheriff of his county where he was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. I'm going to get into that, and then I'm going to get into another conversation about criminal accountability when you were talking about teenagers and the parents. And that's going to be another interesting topic tonight. It's that one there. So I'm going to be talking about that. Anyway, let's get into it first. Michael Pomona Mike Lerma, uh, member of Mexican Mafia, high-ranking member, very high-ranking member. He's from Pomona, obviously, hence the name Pomona Mike. And he's been locked up since the 80s. I find that interesting that if he's been locked up since the 80s, and let's say it's late 80s, he has been running things for almost 36 years, pretty much 36 years. And that's a testament to either him, his power and influence, or if not for Pomona Mike's power and influence, the Mexican Mafia. Now, if you're not familiar with the Mexican Mafia, you can always go back and watch one of the videos. I've done one, La M, is what they're known as, La M, the Black Hand. Go look up the video, but the Mexican Mafia is one of the most powerful prison gangs in California. And of course, they've expanded. And so, with him being in power for 36 years, like I said, it may be a testament to his power and influence, but more so to the power and influence of the Mexican Mafia. And one of their subsets is Norteños. I don't know if you're familiar with them. Excuse me. Give me a drink of water real quick. But anyway, he has his own cell. Pretty much like if you're in Chicago, you would say, he's a general or maybe like a regent or a governor or an elite. He has some rank and he has his own cell, the Lerma cell. And he's been giving orders. Now he gives orders to visitors over the phone and from inmates when they get out. Now, this is what I find interesting. I'm sure this is, again, a testament to not only power and influence, but innovativeness and intellect, right? When people are in prison, And I've been in prison before. I don't know if any of the viewers have been in prison. Make sure to like the video, share the video. Like I said, you can always go back and look at the MA Mexican Mafia video. But when you're in prison, you're given so much time and everything is done up here. You may go to the yard and you'll hit the weights, you'll play basketball and stuff like that, but you're still here. And you have to be here because there is so much going on in prison as far as prison gangs, uh, trafficking, uh, and you just have to be aware. And then when you're back in your cell, in these times, a lot of times you're doing 18 hours in your cell. So you're always up here. So they're always thinking, because the question is, how was he able to get these messages over to people on the outside when the authorities, I'm sure, are looking at everything, they're listening to every call. Now, as far as the visitation, as far as the visitation, but even now, when I was last there, did we have, I know as far as the visitation, when I was there, we had to even do visits over a video. It was a video thing. And that was during the pandemic. So you may have in-person visits. So it would be easier to send messages that way. But if you're talking on the phone, you have to have a coded language in order to send messages. And with authorities trying to, break that code to still be innovative and intellectual enough to still get those messages across, as a testament, like I said, in the time that people spend while they're in prison. He had so much power that he was taxing, like I said, in Norteños, one of the subsets that he was taxing on the outside. While he was distributing meth and heroin, he was still taxing other members of these other organizations. And he was sending hits. As a matter of fact, the life sentence that Pomona Mike got was based on a hit. I think it was in a federal prison. He sent an order for a hit, killed the guy. But I don't know. And some people say, they really helped him out, right? Which may be the case. Like I said, he'd already been in prison since the 80s. I don't even know if he, I think that sometimes, depending on the situation, let me say that, depending on the situation, he may have been living more comfortable in prison. And then there is no telling how much time he had left anyway. He probably had already assumed that he was not going to make it back out on the streets. So you giving me life in federal prison does nothing. It doesn't relinquish my power or anything. In fact, you probably given me more access, if that makes sense. But I'm not sure, but that's my thing. So this is my question for you. This is my question for the viewers. Make sure, like I said, you like, share the live. But do you think prisons have become more like an office setting, where these leaders are able to run things? Man, I don't know what is going on. Oh I got an itch that won't go away for some reason. Thought about not doing the live, but I said I would be here. And again, the question is prison just an office for these leaders nowadays? And is the system broken? Is this, evidence of the system being broken, where he's able to still run things and control things from federal prison? Is that the system being broken, or just the inmates having that time? They're being innovative and creative in how they actually maneuver and make certain moves. So that's again Michael Pomona Mike Lerma. You can go back, watch the video. Watch the video. Mike. What else? Oh, Aaron Spencer. I wanted to get to this one. I think I might have rushed to that one to get to this one. If you haven't heard about the Aaron Spencer case, this is crazy. Um, so anyway, Aaron Spencer has a 13-year-old daughter, 13-year-old daughter, who was befriended by a 67-year-old man. I believe his name was Michael Foster. Um, Befriended her, started grooming her, and began to abuse her. Right? He gets arrested. Michael Foster gets arrested, goes to jail. He's charged with rape, child abuse, a litany of other charges. Uh, but he bonds out. They give him a bond. He bonds out for $5,000. One day, Aaron Spencer finds out that his daughter is missing. He doesn't know where his daughter is at, but he has a GPS tracker on her phone. So he looks up the phone and he finds out that she's in the truck with this guy, Michael Foster, her abuser. So he goes to, chase him down, forces him off the road. There's a confrontation. And then Aaron Spencer shoots and kills Michael Foster, his daughter's abuser. And he's saying it was stand your ground. Now, first and foremost, this is one of the things that I find that would be a problem with the stand your ground law. When there's a situation when there's only us two, and we're the only two there, we're the only two witnesses to the crime, right? We're the only two witnesses to the crime. If I'm the accused and you're dead, then you own the police, the authorities only get my story, right? That's the only story you can get because you're dead. Then, the evidence will tell the story, but I don't know, even in this situation, if the evidence will be enough to prove that it wasn't stand your ground. I don't know if you would have that evidence. Like, how do you prove that it wasn't stand your ground? It's like, he was coming at me, I felt threatened, I shot, I killed him. Now, a lot of people are saying that he is a hero. This is what makes it truly interesting. Thanks for commenting. I apologize. I tried to get my setup today where I would be able to see your comments and respond. I'll respond after the show, but I was getting like feedback, so it didn't work out. But thanks for joining me. Thanks for commenting. Make sure to like and share the live. So anyway, excuse me again. So anyway, the stand your ground. So this is what I find interesting. Aaron Spencer ran to be the sheriff of the county where he was charged of second-degree murder. He's been charged with second-degree murder. He ran and he actually won the nomination. He won the nomination in this county where he is being charged with second-degree murder of killing this guy, right? Now, a lot of people, myself included, feels like it's justified. It's, it's justified, and people feel like he's a hero. That's not the problem. He can be a hero. We can feel like he's justified in his actions and everything he did. But that doesn't take away from the fact that he shot and killed someone. You don't have the right to take the law into your own hands. No matter how we feel about it, that's an emotional reaction to say, oh, yeah, he's a hero, great guy. Killed his daughter's abuser, I would have did the same thing. But that's not how the justice system works, nor should it be how we assume or encourage for it to work. So this is where I'm at with it, right? He won the nomination to be sheriff. I think this is just my thought. I don't think that the victim, Michael Foster, can get a fair trial. I don't know if that's a thing, like as a victim, getting a fair trial when you're gone. Because because Aaron Spencer won. Aaron Spencer won the nomination. That's saying that he has the support of his community. So how do you guarantee a fair trial for the victim? And I know, as when you're you're defending yourself, you can ask for a change of venue. Say, I don't think that in this particular jurisdiction, with this particular judge, and with these, these peers, jury of my peers, I can get a fair trial. I understand that when you're defending yourself, but I don't think in this particular instance that the victim can get a fair trial. I don't think that he can get a fair trial. I think that it would only be fair that there be a change of venue, because Aaron Spencer has the support of the community. And I don't know how it works, because you haven't been convicted yet. And since you haven't been convicted yet, you were nominated to be the sheriff. So that I'm assuming that would mean that you can actually win the seat of the sheriff. So then what happens then? Now I'm the sheriff and I'm on trial for killing my daughter's abuser. I just don't, if that doesn't sway the jury, to his favor, I don't know what does. I don't think it's fair. That's just, because I believe in that. I believe in justice, quality, fairness, those things. I'm all for those. So even though I don't feel that he was necessarily wrong and what he did, I still think that the justice system has to work. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you think about that. But that's my opinion. And I mentioned this earlier. We're on the TikTok. This is a must-read book. Go and get this book. Sponsored tonight, My People Perish by Malik Assad, available on Amazon.com. Go and get it. Go get it. Read it. Let me know what you think. When you come back to the live, let me know what you think about the live. But My People Perish by Malik Assad, available on Amazon.com. Go and get it. And lastly, before I go, I wanted to talk about criminal accountability, parents and teenagers. What I mean by this is that you have teenagers who are charged as adults. Right? Now, they'll tell you that a teenager's mind is not fully developed. It's not fully developed. So I take issue with the fact that they are being charged as adults. I do. I know some people say, well, they committed an adult crime, charge them as an adult. But I don't agree with that. I just don't think. Let me say this. I don't think that it's fair that we say that teenagers can't make certain decisions, right? They can't make certain decisions. But when it comes to committing a crime, then you can be charged as an adult. I don't think that's fair. I think that if there is, I don't even know if we say, okay, well, there's a history of this teenager, kid, whatever, committing crimes, doing bad stuff. And so maybe you have to extend their sentence until you see change in behavior and thinking, and then say, okay. Now, I think that was the way it was working before. And I don't know where the shift came when we said, okay, well, no, we're not doing that anymore. If they commit a crime that's heinous enough or whatever, then we're going to charge them as adults. And I sincerely believe that the powers that be only did that because they knew the demographic that they would be hurting the most. That's my personal opinion. I believe that they know, and we can get into all of the societal and environmental uh, influences that uh, push, black teens, black kids down these paths that lead to incarceration and death. We can get into that, but regardless, I believe that the powers that be knew know that they would be affected the most, right? We already have evidence of mass incarceration. As a matter of fact, while we're on that, let me tell you what I found out. I found this amazing, right? I was in college and I was doing a paper called Prisons for Profit. Excuse me, Prisons for Profit. And the guy, before he got caught, I had found the story about the guy in Pennsylvania, the judge, who was selling these teenagers to the system, private institution. And then I looked up all of these different private institutions, and I found out that private institutions were introduced in 1984. 1984. Now, let me tell you why I actually did the story, because I found a guy. It was a guy in California. I think his name was Leandre, whatever. Uh, Veteran, military veteran, came home, addicted to drugs. He was on drugs, right? Um, did a whole bunch of petty crimes. And what he did was he stole like approximately $60 worth of DVDs, and he got life in prison. Got life in prison for stealing $60 worth of DVDs, CDs, life in prison, because they said it was a three strikes law, right? And I went back and I found in 1984 these prisons were privatized, and what you started seeing were the lobbyists lobbying for stricter sentencing. So you started seeing the three strikes, the habitual criminal, the mandatory sentencing, and judges who believe in justice. They didn't find that it was fair, because what it does is that when you put this mandatory sentencing out there, you take the mercy and compassion away, because now I have to rule in this manner. I'm locked in to this. This is what I have to do. Um, and so over time, uh, the people who were affected the most were Black people. That's a fact. And we can say, that Black people commit crime, but we can also say poverty. And I took macroeconomics, and in the macroeconomics, it talks about social costs. There are social costs. If I'm starving, I'm probably going to steal something. I'm hungry. You know what I mean? So that's what's going to happen. You're going to have those social costs, and then what you have is, you'll say crime is more rampant in the area where there's poverty. Of course, there's more crime there. So you say we're gonna dedicate, instead of dedicating resources or something to actually, and the way it's designed. I did a paper, and I called it ruralization. Right? Ruralization. I'm not going to stop. I call it ruralization, right? Where, like, you have a community where the majority of people are Black, but then the people who actually have the stores there are other ethnicities, whatever they are. They're other ethnicities, right? And so the dollars from the communities, the money goes into these places, Then that money is taken out from that neighborhood, taken out, and it's taken out to the suburbs. Right? And so the money is out there instead of the money being circulated here. We're becoming wealthier. We're making another area wealthier. And it is such a like you can see you'll go out there to these suburban communities and you'll see schools. They got like 15 kids in a class. The teacher is paid better. They have all the technology and everything, and so they're able to give each child attention. And then you go over here to this community. The teacher had 30 to 40 students where they have to select, the few that are bright and that, seemingly have a future and focus on them. Then the other ones just, let them go because whatever. And so all of this is, and I don't know if it's design. I don't know if it's by design. It could be just it can just be all a coincidence. It could be a coincidence. But I do know. Let me get back to the point. They privatized prisons. They started lobbying to lock more people up, and I think that, like I said, it affects certain demographics. They know this. The underlying issue. That's what we talk about in macroeconomics. As a matter of fact, I had an English teacher. She asked, do you think in America things can ever be equal? Can things in America ever be equal? And in my mind, being hopeful, I say yes. Of course, things can be equal. She says no. She says things can never be equal here in the United States. It can never be equal. She said because do you think that it's possible that a kid born in East St. Louis, Illinois, has the same opportunities as a kid born in Beverly Hills? No, they don't. It's not possible that they have the same opportunities, right? It's just not. So you can try to make things equitable. You can try to, lift this person up who's in this community and give them more opportunities, better opportunities, but things will never be equal because they just won't. Some people are going to be wealthier. They have other opportunities because they're wealthier. You know what I mean? But I digress. Anyway, so they charge these teenagers as adults. But at the same time, and I don't know if you caught this last case. I can't see everything on here. But going to college. I want to see this. But will that stop you from graduating high school and going to college? Yes, it can. It can definitely prevent you from doing that. Like I said, there are a number of environmental and societal pressures that, like, say for instance, I'll give you an example. In society, when I was growing up, going shopping at a thrift store, not having the nicest shoes, not having the haircut, stuff like things like that, people would pour shame. They pour shame, and you may think that it's nothing. Pour shame, get it over, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But it's easier said than done. So some people go to the streets to get money. Some people go work jobs. Some people do that, but the it's a lot. But yeah, it can definitely prevent you from completing high school. You got to think. Some in some places you may not experience, but you may have a household people that's drug addicts, right? And you have drug addicts there. You have younger kids that are there that are not being taken care of because they're drug addicts. How do you manage going to high school, then going to college? Uh, when you worried about kids at home that are not in a safe environment, that's not eating, right? So that becomes the issue. Then you're saying, okay, well, now you're out of high school, right? Now you're out of high school, and you try to go get a job because maybe you do want to go get a job, you know, but you don't want to be. But then they say, well, you don't have your high school diploma, or they're just not going to hire you, you know, because you don't have skills, whatever the case may be. They just don't hire you because everyone can't get hired, right? Everyone can't get a job because people may not find that they are good hires, whatever. And it could be mistakes, you know, things that they do on their own. But there are a number of things that can prevent a person from going to high school. And I'll tell you something. This is me. Like I said earlier, I've been in prison. I've been in prison. Now I'm one of the few. I'm not going to say that I'm one of the few. I'm one of those that went to prison, did a lot of things in the past, went to prison, came out and tried to do something different. Right? I did. Try to do something different. But, you know, the things that I wanted to do, I found that I couldn't do. And then a lot of things, you know, there were a lot of obstacles that I had to overcome. You know, when you have a drug case, they say, uh, you know, they prevent you from getting, federal aid, student loans. Um, it's difficult to get out. It's all type of stuff, man. I think that you know, I told a friend of mine one time, right? Guy I used to work with. The problem that we have, especially with people of different ethnicities, whatever, is that we only actually mix or mingle together at work or in these social settings where we have to act a certain way. And we only talk about certain things. So you don't know, I don't know what goes on with you. You don't know what goes on with me. We only know each other in this moment. You know what I mean? We only know each other right now. And so I think we got to come live a life, come actually live it. Grow up in one of the households and find out what you're up against. You know what I mean? Find out what you're up against. It's not, no. Well, but back to this. I think he's going anyway. So thanks for coming though. I appreciate it. Like, share the live. I would appreciate it. Go get the book from my sponsor. My People Perish by Malika Sa. So anyway, and then I'm gonna get up out of here. I've been on here for when it comes, I don't think that you can charge a child or a teenager as an adult, and at the same time turn around and charge a parent for the crimes that teenager committed. Because if you're going to say that they can be charged as an adult, then let them just be charged as an adult. Don't try to drag the parents into it too, unless they were actually involved in the crime. Right? That just would seem fair to me. That's just my personal opinion. But let me know what you think. I wish I could read the other comment. I think I could have seen it. I think last. What was that watching? Is that you, Carmen? Call me right now if that's you. Let me know. Thank you for watching. If you are watching, I really appreciate it. That's not. So if it is you, I want to say it again. Call me right now. But this was enjoyable. I'm happy that I got my setup now. I will be going live every weekend to make sure this happens, and hope hopefully, people will start sticking around. Okay, pretty cool. Pretty. But I wrote about that. Man. Wrote. But again, go get the book. And if you're not following me on TikTok, go follow me on TikTok. It's the underscore OC Street Files. Go follow me there. Thanks for watching. I truly appreciate it. The people that came and watched, like, and shared the video. Go watch the other videos. Watch the video on La M, the Mexican Mafia. There should be a couple videos there about them. Watch the one of Michael Pomona Mike Lerma. And also, you can catch the video on Aaron Spencer. Go and research it. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts on the Aaron Spencer case. So go research it and let's talk about it next week. All right. Thank you very much. God bless. God loves you, and I do too. You enjoy the rest of your night and have a great week.